First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to the true and living power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, and there is no God beside them. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who definitely rule well, and honors and citations to the hopeful elect. The Water Tiabach Shai for allowing me to do another lesson. I just want to do a quick exhortation inspired by camp yesterday. We were getting into, being a watchman. And I brought out this precept here. This is from 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. It says, "Watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong." Now let me get the NIV. Okay, so this is it in the NIV, New International Version. It says, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." So the NIV says to stand firm in the faith. So watch ye, stand firm in the faith, quit you like men, meaning act like men, and be strong. So this is how a man of the Lord or a watchman is ought to carry himself. Myself, first and foremost, we all have to apply this because this was pleasing to the Lord. So often, this is why scripture say, "Blessed is he that readeth." So if I find myself like worrying or stressed, those are all, those are all tactics ultimately of Satan, spiritual demon Satan, these evil forces that we're fighting against. All right, because like Ephesians 6 chapter says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, ultimately against evil spirits. So they use things like worry, stress, because things like worry and stress can begin to tie into doubt, and it can begin to tie into falling off. Yeah, falling off, getting knocked off your pivot. Right? It's pretty much wiggle room for those things. For Satan, to be allowed to work with. So that's why we have to stand firm in the faith, man, because now when find yourself worrying and things like that, because we are in the flesh, we're not going to be perfect. It's worrying is a crossroads. Ultimately, it's a fork in the road, because here in the scriptures, which is inspired by Yahweh Shema Shai, like the scriptures say, all scriptures is given by inspiration of the Most High, roughly paraphrasing. We see that being strong is what's pleasing to the Lord. Now, worrying and stressing, stuff like that, that's not strength. That's weakness. So that's why it becomes a crossroads. I mean, a fork in the road. And now you have to choose one. Either you're going to continue to worry, which that shows weakness, and that's wiggle room for the spiritual demon Satan, or you're going to show forth faith, which is, being strong. All right, so you're either going to, worry showing forth weakness, or having faith showing forth strength. But you can't, we see that you can't do both. We got to pick one and go with it. Now, of course, we have to pick to be strong, because that's what's pleasing to Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? As it says right here, once again, 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. "Watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong. Okay. And let's get Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. I mean 9 and 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. See, so it just said, do with all thy might. That means showing forth strength, man. Ecclesiastes, or the book Sirach 4 and 28. Strive for the truth unto death. That obviously shows major strength. And the Lord shall fight for thee. See that? So showing strength is what's acceptable to the Lord. So therefore we have to choose having faith, because that's to show strength, man. So we got to go with that, because that's what's pleasing to the Lord, and that's what's gonna that's what's gonna help us secure our chances of salvation, which has to be secured. Right, because this is Luke 21:36. It says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So we got to be accounted worthy of that. We got to be accounted worthy of salvation. So those that are worthy of salvation are obviously those that is pleasing in the sight of the Lord. If you're not pleasing in the sight of the Lord because you're extremely rebellious, you're extremely wicked, then there's no way he's going to save you. But if you're pleasing to the Lord, right, meaning you're doing like the Lord could brag about you, like he bragged about Abraham. No, Job. Like you see Job, you see how he hates evil. You see how much he's praying to me. Even how it said about Cornelius in Acts the 10th chapter. The angel told Cornelius, your prayers has come up. No, he said, let me grab it. Yep. Acts 10 and 4. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, what is it, Lord? And he said unto him, thy prayers and thy alms are come up for memorial before the Most High. Whoo! Cornelius, easy English. Cornelius looked at the angel and he was afraid. Master, what is it? Said Cornelius. The angel said to Cornelius, the Most High heard you when you prayed to him. And now that's, man, you can't put a price on that. And he has seen all the money that you give to the poor people. You make the Most High very happy, and now he is answering you. You know, and alms, of course, doesn't have to just be giving money to poor people. It could just be righteous deeds as well. Okay, you know, just because you're not rich and can't give to the poor like that doesn't mean you still can't classify for, you know, doing alms, which is just being brotherly ultimately. So those brotherly acts and his prayers came up for memorial before the Most High, and as we see in Easy English, stuff like that makes the Lord very happy. So we have to make the Lord happy, man. And making the Lord happy is what? Faith. Because we know in Hebrews 11 and 6, it says, without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. Meaning it's impossible to make the Most High happy. So therefore, you know, when we hit that fork in the road, find yourself worrying, find yourself overly stressing, like, hold up, that's not strength, man. That's weakness. Having faith is strength. Okay? But that's, you know, pretty much it. And that helps fight in his faith, man. Like the Apostle Paul said, when he fought the good fight of faith. So here it is. These evil spirits. Let's get it. Ephesians 6 and 12. I read it in the easy English. You need to be strong. Once again, being strong. Being strong is what? Having faith. That's what it is to be strong in the eyes of the Lord. Not because you could bench press 300 pounds, or not because you could run for 5 miles straight without breaking a sweat. But being strong is having faith. Okay? When where Satan tries to sow his doubts and stuff like that. Because it's a spiritual fight, like it's about to say. Because we are not fighting against human enemies. No, but instead we are fighting against the rulers and the powerful spirits that have authority over this dark world. So we're fighting against powerful spirits. So therefore, since we are fighting against powerful bad spirits who live in the heavens, notice they live in the heavens. Why do they get to live there? Because the Lord created them. Right? So real quick on how we fight against these evil spirits, because the fight ultimately is for our crown, for our salvation. That's why Yahushua said, let no man take thy crown. That's why even in the book of Romans, it said, like, who shall separate us from the love of the Most High? Shall nakedness, shall evil spirits, shall the sword, shall death, shall hunger? Because that's what the fight is, to separate us from the Most High through distractions and through evil, wicked tactics. But we are able to fight back, because when you're in your fight, two important things is what? Your shield and your sword. When we go back to ancient times, that's why Ephesians 6 and 16, it says, above all, taking the shield of faith. So when Satan tries to fight against us by sowing in us worry, doubt, impatience. Oh man, I should have been saying that a very long time ago in this lesson. Impatience, man. Because that's where the battleground, and that's what inspired this whole lesson I was thinking about, man. Because faith, patience, man. Patience, speaking upon patience, is where faith is proven. If there's no patience and everything is given to you right away, your faith can't get exercised like as strong. That's light resistance training if you get everything immediately. But heavy resistance training is patience, man. That's how you really become, that's how your faith really gets tested. Remember, faith is strength, so that's how you really become strong. When you maintain your faith throughout that whole patience. So, impatience is Satan trying to, play with you. Yeah, the Lord not dealing with you, because you're not getting it quick. Or he just tries to make you, antsy, for lack of better words. Right? So when that comes, we get that shield of faith. The shield of faith. Block that with faith. So you say, we say first and foremost, we got faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right, we believe the Lord is going to help us. Period. And that pretty much goes back to the fork in the road. We have to choose. We're going to worry, and that shows forth weakness, or are we going to have faith, and that shows forth strength, and strength is what's pleasing to the Lord. So we're automatically going to throw up that shield to where, look, we're having faith because we can't worry. And then when you're able to back it up, and because it says, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. So now the word of the Most High is a sword, and that's what we into right now. So now we get the scriptures, we block it with faith, like fuck out of here. Yahweh Shaka homie, then we come do a 360, whatever have you, come back around with our sword, cut his head right off, man. By quoting the scriptures. That's what Yahweh Shah was doing. When Satan tried to tempt him, he would block it with automatic faith, and come back and slice his head right off with scriptures. So, because the scriptures, man, make it clear. And make it clear that there's a fork in the road between two masters. All right. When we're able to quote the scriptures, that's strength. Once again, blessed is he that readeth. And then we're able to, of course, apply the scriptures, and it's over from there, man. Hey, we begin to win all the way to the end, because John the Revelator seen those that won or got the victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, over his name. No, that comes from winning in the end. So yeah, man, just wanted to share those thoughts when we hit those spiritual forks in the road, aka or slash battles. It's a fork in the road. We got to choose one or the other. So all praise and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai, and double honor to the apostles and elders, Lord willing is edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.